Hello. All right. This is very impromptu. So I'm going to hang on for a couple minutes here, see if anybody jumps on. And yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to. Oh, looks like somebody jumped in. I was getting ready to do a video possibly, and Spirit kept saying go live. So I decided to go live. Not quite sure what we're going to talk about today. Just really whatever's going on. We're going to pull some cards. We're going to feel into the energy. I can say I pulled up on my phone just as I was preparing to come on, just to kind of check out the astrology chart for the day. And I saw that Mercury has just moved into Aries. So I found that pretty interesting. That definitely explains a lot. It's been an interesting day. The energy has felt very intense. I definitely feel that Mercury in Aries kind of vibe. I've felt very, very impassioned and very like I really needed to speak out about some stuff that was on my mind. And I'm not sure how much I really want to get into on here. I try to not make this political. This is a channel where we talk about our spiritual development, but everything, every aspect of our experience is spiritual because we are spiritual beings. There's absolutely nothing that we experience in this incarnation on earth that is not of a spiritual nature. We by very definition are of a spiritual nature. And so, that's always been something that I've found interesting when people throw stuff around and they act as though this is spiritual and this is not spiritual. It's like, no, it's all spiritual. It's all part of that experience. And, we are having a very intense collective experience right now. And I think, though, it's really important for people to be able to learn how to synthesize their own opinions about everything that's going on, find their own truth. And so I posted one of the little PSAs on that the other day about, I called it, intuitive discernment. It's that process of being aware and taking in all the different viewpoints and perspectives and all of the information that's available through as many channels as possible, and just going with what resonates and going inside and really seeking the answers within. And how important that is right now, because there is so much. I think a lot of us are getting to this point where it's like the stuff we're seeing and we're hearing and that's being told to us by the media and all of this, like it's not necessarily resonating. We're starting to question, we're starting to be like, I don't know, like things aren't really adding up right now. And so it's really important to go inside and to find our own truth and to find our own center point. And yeah, it's that just finding that center point is so imperative right now. Just finding that stillness within and connecting. We talk about choosing love over fear and how essential that is. And, to be honest, at some points today, I wasn't choosing fear, but I was allowing myself to get really frustrated, right? And so that's a lot of, I guess that Mercury in Aries, right? Like that really impassioned, fiery kind of mind state. We have the moon. The moon has moved into Sagittarius. It was in Scorpio for a couple of days there. So we had the intensity of that. After we were, coming off that full moon in Libra, and now it's in Sagittarius. So I think that adds to it. We have this desire, this emotional desire to wander and to travel and to discover, and like we're really not being able to do that right now. And I think it's adding to this feeling of a lot of us realizing how sort of kind of restricted we may feel at the moment. And, just really having to tap back into that fact that everything, there is a higher purpose for everything. So yeah, I think that added to a lot of the energy, but it was just like, it's, we're in this place right now where it's just so important to really learn how to think for ourselves, how to think independently, and where discovering how to do that, that's a lot of the process that we're going through right now is this process of self-individualization, right? Of really coming to terms with and getting an idea of what our personal values and what do I believe, what do I stand for, what do I stand by, and am I willing to stand up for that? It's this process as we start moving into the age of Aquarius, right, is like this first aspect of Aquarius, which is this really knowing who I am. And so I think a lot of us are going through the birthing pains of that right now as well. I can definitely say, I think over the past few days, there's been, as integrating energies and stuff like that, I've definitely been feeling, I don't know about you guys, you guy right now, there's one person in here, so I don't know about you, but I've definitely been feeling just more tired, needing a lot more rest, and knowing that it's a process of my body just integrating more energy, which is just something that we're fortunate enough to be able to allow our bodies to go through that process right now, which is really great. So I don't know. I'm gonna pull some cards just to get the energy started and see what they have to say. I hope that everyone is, looking forward to their Easter tomorrow, if that's something that you celebrate. I'm not really a big on the celebration of Easter, so I keep forgetting that it's technically in a couple hours here going to be Easter. But if that is something that you look forward to and celebrate, then I hope that, you're finding a way to make it as special as you can. So I guess this in its own way is sort of like a happy Easter kind of live too. So, happy whatever it is that you celebrate. And we'll get into the cards. Hi, welcome. See a couple more people joined. We're doing an impromptu live here, just feeling out the energies. If anybody wants to say hi, kind of, talk about what's going on with you right now, of course. Hi, Tommy. It's funny actually, because I think Tommy jokingly said something about how I should do a live on 4/11, and I didn't plan that. But as I was checking out the astrology chart for the day, I noticed it is 4/11 right now. So yeah, hey, everything happens in perfect divine timing. So Ascended Masters, Keepers of the Light, what guidance do you have for us right now? Any guidance for us? Any guidance for the energies that we're experiencing right now? Okay. We have Gaia, Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth. Stay grounded. And so, this is really interesting because we are in this process of, some people talk about, they say like Mother Earth is purging herself. We hear a lot of that, like the Earth is healing itself. And we know as we move into this new Earth that is something that's happening regardless. And so it's, we are much more mindful of the planet and her needs and our connection to the planet. But this is reminding me of something that came up in the reading the other day when it was talking about it's okay to be in this earth, but not of it. And the importance of being connected to the earth and to the fact that we are in these human bodies experiencing this human life right now. And I think that can be challenging for a lot of people who do feel as though, hi, malicious mind state, who do feel as though their origins are of the stars or of something other than, this physical world. And so, that's what I'm thinking too. It's the importance. And this is something that's been coming up with me for a really long time, because I have, for a long time, just, I think that thing that we all feel, right? Where it's like, we feel so out of place and we get kind of almost pouty about it. And we're like, I just want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. Right. And so I had this experience actually when I was in Costa Rica, and during an ayahuasca ceremony where I got the I was given the option to leave the earth, or so I believed at the moment. That was my perception of what was going on. And I decided that I really, really wanted to stay. And it's interesting because I've heard a lot of people in different groups and stuff that I'm a part of talking about how during meditation or during these different things, they felt as though they were being given this opportunity as well. And they chose to stay. And so I think it's really important to just to know that we chose to be here, and we want to be here right now. And we were probably, not probably, I would say almost definitely, very excited to come here. And when we decided to incarnate on this earth at this time, and it can be difficult remembering that sometimes when things seem so challenging. We have so much chaos going on around us right now. There's, it's kind of a mind fuck, really. And, we're constantly going back and forth trying to figure out, like, what the hell is really going on here? I know for me, it's like I try not to get too caught up in that. And I try to stay in the moment and just keep like anchoring back to what I know of the truth and what I know of my heart. But sometimes it's hard, because there is so much going on, and it can be very confusing trying to understand what to believe. And it's a challenging time. It is a challenging time to be here, but we really, really wanted to be here right now. And it's so imperative that we learn how to embrace that and really, like fully live and fully incarnate. And what it means to fully incarnate is that we are fully immersed in this experience and not spending too much time thinking about the places that we'd rather be. I mean, it's really great. And, I love in meditation to connect with my family of light, my galactic family, to really, like, I enjoy seeking contact with other beings and stuff like that. But at the same time, like in the rest of my experience, I really have been trying to work. And this is a great reminder for me as well to, really embrace the fact that I'm here as a human being. Hi, Isabella. And just what that means, to fully live and anchor into this experience. And I think that that's really necessary, and that's really imperative, because when we do that, we're also being that much more powerful of a satellite. And so this is something that I definitely wanted to talk about is, I think I mentioned it in some of the videos, but they can tend to be a little long, and I didn't do a PSA about it. But the fact that the main message that I've been getting is that right now we are all like satellites. And so we are just receiving this high vibrational energy that's being broadcast down to the earth to anchor in this light grid and to help to uplift the planet. And we've been positioned in the places where we're most needed. You can think of us as this giant grid of light, and we're each just different points in that grid. And so wherever we are, we're helping to strengthen the grid in that place. And really, that's our main job and our main focus right now, is to just be that channel for that energy and just receive that energy and ground it into the earth. And the more present we can be in our physical bodies and in this physical world, the better we're able to anchor in that light. And so that's our main mission right now. And if that's all we do, then that is absolutely perfect. And that is enough. And when the next steps become clear, those steps will be revealed. And I'm so happy that that came up right now, because honestly, that was the message that I needed to hear tonight. That was a reminder that I needed to hear, is everything will be revealed in time, and we're all doing exactly what we're meant to be doing right now. So yeah, it's just staying grounded and anchoring in that light, being that satellite, being part of that grid. Oh, thank you. Yes, I was told once that my tattoos were my coding, whatever that means. What do we have here? Researching all week, the Lightworker Network. Yeah, exactly. The Lightworker, the network. We're all part of this 5D grid, this crystal grid, and we're in this process of becoming the clearest channels that we can be for that energy. Like that was the other part of the message. Like that's our job right now, is to just be the clearest channels that we can be. And how do we become clear channels? We allow all the stuff that's coming up to be purged so that we can release it. We take care of our physical bodies. We take care of what we're putting into our bodies. We rest. we hydrate, we do all those simple things, right? That can feel so complicated, but are actually so simple. We watch what we're taking into our minds. There's so much, it's so important to disconnect as much as possible from that herd mentality and that, all the fear programming that's being put out into the world right now. Just really disconnect from that. I think it's a really judge of how well, I think a lot of people that are watching this channel are probably empaths, which means that you're very sensitive to energy. We pick up on other people's energy. Sometimes if we don't understand that gift, we can take that energy on as our own almost. And so it's really important to be clearing our energy fields and to be really taking the time that we need to take to anchor into our own energy and know what our own energy feels like. So that way we can tell when it's being disrupted. And, there are sometimes people who are having the experience of like feeling okay and then going out in public to the grocery store or wherever they're going and just being like bombarded by the anxiety and the stress and the fear. And so when that happens and then you step outside and you're okay again, that's when you can tell that your energy is being affected by the energies. You're taking in the other energies. And so that's sort of a telltale sign that it's time to strengthen your own energetic field and to work on that. My friend, my quarantine buddy, that's staying with me right now, she and I went out the other day and we didn't notice anything like that. And we were hearing people talk about it and we were like, wow, like our energy field must have been pretty strong today, because we didn't, it's like at times we almost forgot that there was a pandemic going on until we noticed how terrified people were of us as we were walking around. Because we're not of the face mask wearing tribe. The face mask to me at this point has become almost a symbol of the government's control over us. I'm being safe. I'm being conscientious of others. I'm being clean and taking care of myself, but I'm not allowing myself to slip into the fear consciousness. And, I'm not allowing my brain to be programmed. I'm, taking in all the information that I can, and I'm coming to my own conclusions. But yeah, the whole point of that whole spiel was the strengthening of the energy field and the cleansing of the energy body, and just being strong in that. The clearer the channel, the more energy we're able to hold, the more light we're able to hold and anchor in to the grid. And so that is absolutely imperative right now. So that's what I'm getting with the earth connection, is with the Gaia card there. Any other guidance from the keepers of the light, from the ascended masters? Okay. Yeah, we'll do that too. All right. So we have the divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. So that's kind of perfect, right? So it's like all of this sinking into this fear consciousness and wondering like what's going to happen, and feeling as though, feeling powerless and feeling afraid and feeling frustrated, right? Like there is divine intervention occurring. Like there are so many beings out there that are working for us and working through us and working with us. And, we are their foot soldiers on the ground. And when the time is right, we will receive that call to action, right? And for right now, we're just doing what we're meant to be doing. We're strengthening our energy fields. We're connecting in with ourselves. We're learning how to tune into our own internal guidance. And that's what is going to facilitate this process. And it's just having that faith and that trust in that divine intervention is occurring and will continue to occur. And we have so many beings on our side right now. And yeah, like also, the happiness is our purpose, which taps right into what we were talking with, like being fully incarnated right now, living this lifetime right now. And also, going back to finding our purpose, finding our passion, finding the things that we're guided to do the most, that bring us the most joy, and doing more of those things, because that's what leads us to our dharma, our life purpose. That's what leads us down that path, is following that feeling of joy and just really anchoring into that joy helps us to stay in that love consciousness and stay out of that fear consciousness, which is so, so important right now. And yeah, I mean, we are being guided every single step of this way. It's just, and this once again, a great reminder for me is like, we don't have to know 10 steps ahead. What we need to know is what's happening right now. What do I need to do right now? How can I best serve my purpose right now? How can I best serve the light right now? And like, we already know that. And it's just, the rest is like just having that faith and having that trust. I want to check out more of these comments here. Yep. Clearing old belief systems. Blessed with the company. Let's see here. Yeah, clearing old belief systems is huge. That's a huge thing that we're going through right now. And just really, knowing what is us and what is other people, right? Like, are we putting things on other people when it's really something that's going on in ourselves that's just being reflected outward? And so that's interesting, actually, Isabella, because that came up for me actually yesterday. I was thinking about that. The fact that 2020, I was thinking about 2020 and how it's felt like a mirror to me, right? Like it's the same number doubled. And how this whole year has this energy to me, or this feel about it of being a mirror. Like it's really mirroring back to us whatever it is that's in our hearts and in ourselves, we're seeing in the world around us. And how this is really another great test of our vibration, right? Is seeing what is my experience, and knowing that is a great reflection to me of where my own energy is at. And when I think something's going on with somebody else, sometimes that's just an indicator that's telling me that I need to come back to myself and look at something in myself. So yeah, that's absolutely that's a really great barometer, and just taking that time out when that starts to happen. And, it's the idea of like the same thing where, on these days where you're really stressed out and you're really irritated, and then it's like you hit every single red light, and everyone that's pulling out into traffic seems like they're doing it to spite you. And then you get to work and your boss is in a bad mood. And, things that used to go on pre-coronavirus, right? When we were out going to work and doing these things. And then at some point you take a step back and realize that your vibration is sending out the energy that's reflecting those experiences. And so it's the same thing with anything. Like if I'm shown something, especially if I'm shown it through multiple lenses, multiple situations, multiple people, it's probably something that's being mirrored back to me so that I can heal it. And once I heal those things, all of a sudden my perspective changes and my interactions with people change. So yeah, I really like that. That's really good. That's really good to bring up. Hi, Portugal in the house. Lovely to see you. Pura? That would be my guess of how to pronounce your name. Very beautiful. Yes. Yeah, it's always the right moment. Everything is in divine timing, always the right moment. Yes, something is absolutely guiding us. Tommy is always full of wonderful wisdom. Any difficulties can be overcome. Yes. Oh, it's only the unimaginary ones that are unconquerable. Yes, it's only we are our greatest obstacle, right? And that leads right back to the beliefs in the mind, and how it's all in the mind. And this is a really important time to not just be getting our energy right, but to be getting our minds right, to really be aware of our mental processes and what's going on and how those are tripping us up, and what are these repeating loops that we get stuck thinking in, and how can we overcome those, right? Because that's I mean, this channel is totally real and totally honest. Like I can say personally for myself, that was happening to me a lot today. My mind was really tripping me up, and I was getting really caught up in what I was seeing going on in the 3D, and this frustration with the fact that I felt like maybe others weren't seeing it. And so it's just a lot of, I think, my own old belief systems were coming up, and I was purging so much energy, and I didn't even realize fully that that was what was going on, but it absolutely was. And it's so important to be aware of those belief systems and to be aware when they crop back up. Yes. Yes. Oh, I love you guys so much. This is so wonderful. Oh, this is why I love doing the lives, because we have this great interaction when people start getting involved and we start having these conversations. And so, yeah, we then have Green Terra, and this leads right into it. Green Terra, Supreme Protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation. Trust. So there we go. She just said it for us. That's exactly what's going on right now. You know, it's just more confirmation that we are being loved and we are being protected, and we really have nothing to fear. You know, when we raise our vibration, you know, we raise ourselves to a whole different level of being, and some of these things can only affect us when we allow them to, when we remain in the belief system and the belief structure that supports those things. And as soon as we move beyond that, those things no longer have a resonance with us. And so it really is, even the best way that we can protect ourselves is to look at those belief systems and see, like, what vibrations and what realities and what belief systems are we resonating with. Hi, Marva. With help you with what? I certainly hope so. Hi. On this channel, we talk a lot about the ascension process, and you know, moving through those energies as our consciousness, as we start to awaken, our consciousness and our vibration starts to rise. And so that's what we're talking about right now. You know, so many wonderful. Yes. So yeah, it's just, we're getting. Give us a little more information, my darling Marva. Yeah, Lady Portia, Divine Order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. And so this is, you know, more on that intuitive discernment, right? And tapping into our own understanding of what our truth is. And, you know, just, taking action on what we feel is right, conducting ourselves the way that we feel is appropriate for us right now. And choosing the reality that we are going to live by, choosing those belief systems that we want to identify with right now, choosing all of that. And just knowing, like, this is there are so many important lessons unfolding right now. Like, if life is a school, then this is, you know, we're in like finals week right now. This is crunch time, you guys. And it's just like the only way that we're going to know what those lessons are and really be able to internalize those and integrate those is to go within, and is to find that center point and to find our own truth and our own understanding of reality. Yes. So, I definitely, Marwa, I would encourage you to watch this through, because we've definitely touched on some of that kind of stuff. You are absolutely not alone. You are absolutely loved. Definitely, you can reach out to me after the live as well. This, you know, like the reading that we're doing right now is a general reading and it's been all about how loved and supported and protected everybody is. And so you are absolutely, if you found your way to this live, then you are absolutely supported and you are absolutely loved, because those messages are coming through very strongly right now. And let's see. Clear. Any additional messages for Marwa right now? Any additional messages for Marwa from the Keepers of the Light? Any additional messages? Okay. So Marwa, some additional guidance for you right now is trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. So what I'm getting from this is if you have been trying really, really hard at something and you feel as though you are not being seen or you are not being heard, or people have not been able to recognize how hard you have tried and how hard you have worked, Spirit is recognizing that. Recognizing that. And sometimes the people in our lives don't see that and don't understand that. And like, we look for outside validation from people a lot, and it's so important to know that the only truth that we need is what's within us. Like, we have all the love within ourselves that we need, and that love comes from that connection with Spirit. And so it's connecting to that and knowing that we're never alone, because we are always in the arms of Spirit. And Spirit, it's a lot of times we get really we get dependent upon others for our happiness. And sometimes we have to go through, and this is happening for a lot of people right now, we have to go through these experiences where we experience trials and tribulations. We become separated from people sometimes. And the point is not to hurt us or harm us, but it's so that we can discover the strength that we have within ourselves, because we have such an untapped well of strength within ourselves. We can absolutely overcome anything. And it's learning how to develop that strength and that faith within, and how to develop that connection to Spirit, and know that, like, when we are connected to Spirit, we are never alone, not for one single moment. And we can always tap into that love, and it's always available to us, because it's unconditional, and it's what we are. We are an aspect of Spirit experiencing itself, and just being able to tap into that knowledge and to tap into that love, because that love is a love that is not based on condition. It is a love that is always, always, always so available to us. And it's so important to learn that. And sometimes we spend so much time giving somebody else all this love that we need to learn how to give to ourselves. And we also got hope, love, and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. And so that plays right into, what we were just saying, right? It's just like recognizing our own divine worth and our own divine nature. And so that is so, so, so important. And that is an important lesson that's unfolding for you right now, is the process of learning how to do that. And so, it's tapping into that, and it's allowing ourselves to be that person, right? Like, learning how to give ourselves all the love that we wanted from other people, that we thought we needed from other people, that we really needed from ourselves the whole time, because that's who we need that love from, is ourselves. And so that's what you're being given an opportunity to do right now. And you absolutely have everything that you need to do that. You have all the resources to do that. You are supremely loved, and you are supremely protected, and you are loved and protected by love. Like, the creator source energy is love. We all are love. That is what we are at our core. And it's connecting into that and feeding that and allowing ourselves to become that and to sink into the remembrance of that. And that is what is so important right now. And so that's the lesson that you're being given a chance to learn. And it sucks. It really sucks, and it can be really hard. But we have to look at everything as an opportunity to grow. And so that's the opportunity being presented. And so it says choose loving thoughts, right? So it's all about our thoughts and our belief systems and the things that we tell each other. So being kind, showing, like I said, showing that love to yourself. And so that was a personal message for you, Marwa. All right. We got Salma Alchemy. We'll see if we have some messages for you. And we're going to go with this deck for you. Any general messages for Salma? Messages for Salma. Oh, that's a lot of messages right there. Okay, so Salma, we have the pink rose of Lady Nada. So this is all about a heart awakening. So you're going through a heart awakening right now. Your heart chakra is healing, your heart chakra is opening, and you're being given this gift. You are absolutely welcome, Marla. Love you so much. You are so loved. You are so loved. And so, yes, so Salma, this is this heart awakening, right? This opening of the heart chakra that you're experiencing right now. You're experiencing this. We also got Ascension, the Rainbow Bridge. So activations, right? We've all been going through a lot of activations. And so, you know, you have received this activation in this ascension process. And part of this activation involves the opening and the activating of your heart chakra. And you can see even in this card, if you look, it's like the light is coming right out of the heart there. And so it's connecting into that and accepting that gift and accepting, you know, this process of the unfolding of the heart center. And I actually do want to check that out real quick. I'm being drawn to just take a look at what it says for the pink rose of Lady Nada. I think there's something. And so my eyes landed immediately on, you may be burnt out or feeling anger, fear, depression, chronic fatigue, or compromised wellness. Perhaps your heart is so tired that you struggle with compassion fatigue, finding it difficult to care even though your nature is one of deep compassion and kindness. Or perhaps you have put your heart and soul into something or someone and feel your efforts have been cast aside or taken for granted. This might be for multiple people right now, actually. It probably is, because what's for one is for all. So this may resonate with multiple people, is what I'm feeling right now. Perhaps you're processing a great loss. Whatever the reason, Lady Nada has come to comfort your soul. Your pain will pass and your suffering will be alleviated sooner and more gently than you might expect. The pink rose of Lady Nada unfolds as an energetic gift, gently pulsing with love and beauty within your heart chakra. It brings you comfort, gentle emanations of divine love, and reassurance that you are so wonderful just as you are. Lady Nada is saying, how much I like you, dearest child of light. How deeply I love you. I send love and acceptance to you now so that you may come to love and like yourself with all the compassion, kindness, and unconditionality that I feel for you. And then it goes on to talk about forgiveness and Lady Nada offering the power of forgiveness. And it says, your ability to forgive won't make you a doormat for others. It will free you to leave the past behind. So let other people's choices be about their learning rather than your value, and choose to love yourself now. And so, yeah, this is all about empowerment. This is all about, you know, sometimes when our heart chakra is activated, the heart chakra is activated by a loss, right? It's activated through pain. And so a lot of us have gone through some sort of loss recently, whether it's the loss of a lover, the death of a loved one, the loss of ourselves and the way that we used to identify the person that we thought we were and this unfamiliar person that we're becoming, right? Like there's so many different ways that we can experience loss. And you know, for some of us, it may be an old loss that's coming back up to be grieved. And so it's that process that then breaks us through to this, right? And so all of these energies are being purged right now on so many levels. And, you know, I can say, Salma, I believe that you are definitely receiving an upgrade or an activation. This came out with the spiritual service card for you. And so what I can say for you is that that's all about knowing that you're good enough, right? And stepping into your spiritual gifts and stepping into wherever you're called to serve, just knowing that call is something that resonates with your soul purpose, and you are meant to move forward with that. So Selma, I'm getting this very specifically for you, that if there is something that you are being are being called to do. You are being supported and recognized for that, and that is something that's worth developing. um, and whatever that is for you, whatever way you're being called to do that. And so this process, right, this breaking down process that happens first is what allows all that light to come in. And sometimes it's the wounding that we're healing from that sets us up for whatever it is that we are meant to do, the change that we are meant to make in the world. This reminds me of when we talk about astrology, Chiron, the wounded healer. So it's like our deepest wounds, right, become our deepest gifts and the way that we're most able to be of service. But first, we have to go through that healing process ourselves. And when that does happen, we're able to step into that level of spiritual service. And so, yeah, it's knowing that we are good enough, and knowing that we are worthy, and knowing that we do have something to share with the world, even if sometimes like our mind tells us that we don't. And so, yeah, that's what I'm getting there. And actually, yeah, we want to do this too. How about Mystical Shaman, an oracle card for Selma, please. An oracle card for Selma. Oh, interesting. That one was on the bottom of the deck, and that just came out. And so this is Earth. Oh, and this is well, they're all beautiful cards. So Selma, that came out for you. And it says, Earth represents the gift of life. The symbol on this card refers to the body of the planet Earth, the human body, and nature herself. We're reminded by this symbol that all creatures are born of the earth, and all human beings are the stewards of all life on this planet. It refers to what we make of it, our health, wealth, security, grounding, solidity, and stability. It reminds us that the world of form is a gift from spirit and needs to be treated with respect. When the earth symbol appears, it represents a need to focus on reverence and appreciation for the natural gifts that are coming to you now and always. The concrete world you inhabit is there by the grace of spirit, and you are part of it. Much can be accomplished now when you focus on compassion, reverent service to the world. If you act with integrity, gratitude, and humility, you will find yourself more prosperous than you can imagine. Success is assured when the earth appears as an invitation. And so I would recommend going back as well and watching the beginning of this live, because we talked about all this stuff as well. So there's definitely a heavy piece of service here. So I would say there is, if there's some way that you are being called to serve the earth. And we talked about, the first card that we got at the beginning of this live was the Gaia card. And so it's all about being fully incarnated and fully present in our roles on this earth right now, and connecting with that, and connecting with our place. Even though we are spiritual beings, we are incarnated on this earth, and we're going through this journey right now in these human bodies and fully experiencing that journey. And, another thing that I think has come up a couple times that I feel called to mention is forgiveness and compassion, right? But yeah, this is a lot of success. There's going to be a lot of success for you, Selma, if you allow your heart to continue to open up, allow yourself to experience what you need to experience, and allow this purging process, you allow this ascension process to take root and guide you to your gifts and your service. Like, you are very supported, and fortune is smiling on you there. But it's about this concept of forgiveness, right? Which came up for a couple people, and in general has been coming up a lot as well. And how this is the key. Like, as we're moving toward the new earth, one of the things that we are doing is we need to release this karma, because we're not, like, the new earth does not have karma. Karma does not exist there. And so we need to move through this and to release this. And one of the best and the easiest and the simplest ways to release karma is just to forgive ourselves and to forgive others. And, it's so much easier to forgive others when we look at other people as reflections of ourselves having a human experience, as teachers, as guides. Everyone that's ever hurt us has done so out of love. They did that for us so that we could grow, so that we could gain wisdom, so that we could progress spiritually. And looking at all of that as a gift, pain is our greatest teacher sometimes. And we learn some amazing things from allowing ourselves to experience that pain and learn from that pain. And, yeah. And so forgiveness, forgiving other people and forgiving ourselves. And just knowing that, all of this is a stage, all of this is a play. It feels very real, but like what's real is our true essence as these unlimited eternal beings of light. That's what's true. The rest of this is, it's a play, it's a stage. Like that quote, all the world's a stage, is probably one of the most accurate quotes that ever was quoted. Like it absolutely is. And it's, so not holding on to that anger and that resentment, that's what creates that karma and gets us stuck in those loops. And we're in this process of moving past that right now. And in this process of healing, right? And so we heal our hearts by practicing forgiveness and compassion. And so that's been a big thing that's been coming up that I wanted to mention there. Yes. And listen to Tommy. Tommy always has great wisdom to share. So definitely check out his comments, are always so great. Mr. Maurice. All right. We're going to clear some of these cards off here. Going to clear some of these cards off here. Yes. All right. Clear some of those. Okay. All right. I'm going to do this one for Maurice. Clear. Any guidance for Mr. Maurice Evans Jones? Guidance for Maurice. Empathic starseed. Energetic sovereignty. Absorbing what's not yours. So that came through for you, Maurice. And it's funny, once again, this is stuff that we've been talking about, that we talked about earlier on the live. So I would definitely go back and watch some of this. And so it's, you are an empath. You may be picking up interference. You may be picking up emotion that's not yours. I mean, sometimes one thing that I thought was really interesting that I learned about being an empath is that sometimes my thoughts aren't even necessarily my own. And so how do we differentiate between all of that? And we talked about it. It's by really getting to know our own energy. When I know my own energy and I know my own mind completely, then I know when something is coming into my path that's not my own energy. And so it's being that energetically sovereign being, right? Being that being who is centered in their own energy and is strong in their own energy. And I do want to throw out there for people, I do energy healing. I do a type of healing called Belvaspata, which is translated roughly to angelic healing of the heart. And it's really great to help clear and center the energy. So if anyone's interested in those services, please contact me. My information, my email is in the information below, or readings or whatever you're interested in. I got you. But yeah, so it's about clearing your energy field, really getting centered and knowing your own energy. And so I would recommend, I don't know what your situation is during this pandemic, but spending that time alone, that's the best way that I've found to get to know my own energy, is to really get rid of all that outside interference and just sit with myself and get to know, like, who am I when I'm not interacting with other people, when I'm not taking anything in, when I'm just sitting in myself and really getting clear in my own energy. Because we don't want to, it's hard with all of the climate right now. We really don't want to be absorbing anything that doesn't belong to us, because it is, there's just so much fear and there's so much chaos and so much confusion. And we really, we don't want to be picking up on all of that. It's no bueno. So definitely, releasing, allowing some of that. We had a card that came up earlier about cords being cut. One thing that I find really helpful is in meditation, I call on Archangel Michael and I ask him to cut cords for me. When I do energy healing sessions for people, I invite him in. I work with a lot of angelic beings. He is one of them. And when people need cords cut, I invite him to do that for them as well. He's got that big sword. He loves to release us from those energetic cords. And so that's something that's coming up because I'm picking up on that as well. There are energetic cords that need to be cut. And so we can do that. We can call on Archangel Michael. We can do that in meditation for ourselves. We can even just set the intention for those cords to be cut. Anytime that we feel drained, if there's a certain person maybe that you're thinking about a lot, when that happens, a lot of times that's because we have energetic cords with that person. And so those cords, we build cords with anybody, right? When we have a relationship with somebody. And sometimes people build cords with us even when we don't have relationships with them. If our energy is enticing enough and it's helpful to them, and it's not necessarily a malicious thing. It's just, it's a thing that happens. And so sometimes those cords are positive and it's an even flow of energy and it's a good thing. And sometimes those cords can be draining. And so we can experience fatigue, we can experience stress, we can experience, just different things like that when we do have cords with people that are not serving us. And so asking for those cords to be cut, like most of us probably know the people that we have cords with that may not be the best and the healthiest for us. And so we don't necessarily need anyone to tell us who those people are. So that's another thing that's popping up. And any more advice for Maurice? Okay. This one came out twice, Maurice. So it was on the bottom of the deck and it just popped out. You are not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. And so it's interesting, right? Because we were just talking about picking up on other people's emotions and feelings and being empathic, right? And absorbing what's not ours. But at the same time, like, we don't want to be isolated and cut ourselves out. So it's about knowing which connections are healthy and are feeding us and which connections are draining us, and knowing how to differentiate between those and where we're putting our energy. So it comes back to being an energetically sovereign being, right? And mastering our energy. And part of mastering our energy is deciding where it is best dispersed and where it is best placed. And so you will have a community, if you don't already, of people, of like-minded people, of people that feed you and people that inspire you and people that are on the same wavelength and on the same path. But in order to do that, you have to release some of that other stagnant energy first. And those people will come. And those people I'm getting the message that those people are already there, at least energetically, even if they're not there physically yet. So they're just sort of waiting at the door. And once we release all that is no longer serving us, we open up the door for all that other stuff to come in. For all that, yeah. And then your life is a canvas: artist, manifestation, creative accountability. So you get to create the life that you desire. We are the conscious co-creators of our reality. And we are always creating, whether we know it or not. So it's whether we want to be conscious creators or whether we want to be unconscious creators. And right now, part of this great awakening is learning how to become conscious creators and to manifest and to know that we are responsible for everything that we have within our reality. And if we don't like what's in our reality, sometimes that can be kind of a slap in the face. But when we do like what's in our reality, it can be really rewarding. And if we don't like what's in our reality, we can look at it not as like, oh, well, fuck. Okay, so I created this. Thanks a lot. But look at it more as like, oh, I created this unconsciously. So now that I'm conscious, I am that much more empowered, knowing that I can create something that I want. And just really, really sinking into that creative energy, that creative flow. And so sinking into that creativity and whatever it is that drives you is going to bring those people and that community to you as well. And that's something that we all need to be doing right now. Or nobody needs to be doing anything, something that would behoove us all to do. And then you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness, face your true north. So being your authentic self, Maurice. That's the other thing, is the more authentic you are and the more proudly you are who you are, the more you'll be drawing in that soul tribe. The more those people and those opportunities will be drawn to you. You will become a magnet for them. When we emit our truest frequency, and we only do that by being our truest and most authentic and unapologetic self, that's when all of the abundance flows in. That's when our soul tribe comes to us, our soulmates, all of everything. It opens the floodgates to everything. So it's stepping into our true authenticity and our true being and answering those true calls of our souls, embracing what makes us weird. What makes us weird is what makes us interesting. It's what makes us unique. That is the blueprint of our soul. Our weirdness leads us to our glory. And, they say actually one of the definitions of weird in the dictionary is godlike. And so being weird is not a bad thing. It's all about embracing that right now. Like, we're all fucking weird. It's just some people are honest about it and some people aren't, because they think that they need to hide. And now is not the time to hide. Now is the time where we come out and we embrace our authentic selves. First, we got to figure out who that is. And like, that's a beautiful process that we all get to undertake right now. That's that age of Aquarius vibe, right? Like, we're all stepping into our weirdness and we're finding those who are weird, whose weirdness complements our weirdness. And we're going with that. And so, yeah. Doors are opening. Like, it's all there for you. It's all there for you, Maurice. So that's what I got for you. All right. Yes, I would absolutely love that. Love to give you a full length reading. Yes, malicious mind state. Yes. Tommy's always on point. That's my ride or die buddy right there. I absolutely adore Tommy. Oh, hi, Jordan. Yes, absolutely. I'll pull a card for you. And I'm going to go back to this one for Jordan. And so, Maurice, I hope that was helpful. And so we're going to do, oh no, they really want me to do one of these for you, Jordan. A card for Jordan. Oh, that's a lot of cards there. All right, so Jordan, we got Blessings of Kumu, Uluka Vahini, and Ixchel. Whew. Okay. And so there were some messages that really wanted to come out for you. So we're going to, let's see. Karma, wealth, and balance. Restoration of divine order. Divine justice. So divine justice will be had. If there's anywhere in your life where you're feeling as though you were treated unjustly, that is going to sort itself out, and that is not something that you need to worry about. And my eyes just fell on, you are meant to be a light in this world, and it is important that you allow Great Spirit to support you in the task of leaving behind struggle. Safeguarding your state of mind is essential for you to accomplish your life purpose. If you get caught up in negative thinking, as may happen from time to time, allow Great Spirit to guide you back to the truth of your inner light. Remember that the divine is more powerful than any nightmare created by human darkness. You don't have to deny the dark side of human nature or its manifest consequences for the health of the planet, but you do need to keep yourself secure within the light so that you can effectively fulfill your destiny as an earth warrior. Joy, happiness, and peace will not diminish your motivation to serve love. Rather, they will ensure you have enough energy to do so effectively. Whether you are facing a sense of injustice in your personal life or feel despair at the choices humanity is making in a broader sense, know that the divine has a grander plan than we can possibly understand. We are here to fight for love and do all that we can to honor what is true for us. We are meant to call upon the universe for assistance in all ways possible. So just turning your thoughts to the light, turning your thoughts to love, allowing everything to work out the way it's going to work out. And to know that, like, you don't have to stress and you don't have to worry about that. All you have to be responsible for is your own vibration and your own joy and happiness, and not worrying about others' happiness over your own either. For some reason that is coming up. And that, yeah. And you're being protected as you transition from one phase to the next. That's what this next card means. Let's see. Healing, rebirth, overcoming. Yeah. So everything that you're going through right now, you're being guided and you are being supported. And, it's all about just coming into your own light and focusing on your own light and allowing yourself to focus on your journey right now and what you need to do for you. And actually, this is really great that came up, because that's something that's a message that's really important for everyone right now. Like I said, one reading is for multiple people. It's probably for all of us. There's different aspects that we all need to hear. And so yeah, just setting boundaries. Boundaries has been a huge thing that's been coming up, and so many different readers that I watch from time to time, and different people that I follow as well. It came up, when we talked about the full moon in Libra, right? It's like learning how to set our energetic boundaries, learning how to set our physical boundaries, learning how to stand in our own, to find our own voice and to speak our truth, and to when that is not being respected, to not allow that to continue, to not be a doormat, to not feel as though we are indebted to people. Like, we are allowed to be sovereign beings. We are allowed to have and to experience our own process and our own emotions. We're allowed to say no. We're allowed to do what resonates and what's good for us. And that is so, so important to remember. And just, caring for ourselves. This is you're in a huge time of transition right now, and stuff can feel really, really crazy and really wild. And, it's just disconnecting from anything that's not constructive to your own light, and anything that if it doesn't feel good, and you walk away from situations or interactions with people feeling like yucky, like that just means that those people are people. Like, it's time to, you're allowed to release those things. You're allowed to take care of yourself. You're allowed to be present for yourself. And sometimes being present for ourselves means we can't be as present for other people, and that's okay. This is a time where everyone's learning how to stand in their own power. And sometimes we have to learn that by having the people that we were dependent on not be there. That's how we learn to be dependent upon ourselves, and to be dependent and to build that connection with spirit, which is what truly sustains us. And so that's a huge initiation right there, is learning how to do that, and learning how to be comfortable allowing other people to do that, and knowing that when we don't, and when we cater to people, and when we allow codependency, and we allow these unhealthy relationships and entanglements to continue, we're actually stunting their growth as well, because we're not allowing them to step into their own power. And so when we step into our power, we empower other people to step into theirs, even if they may not appreciate it at the time. Yeah. If you want, call on the Jaguar to help you do this, Jordan. And then we have, for some reason, I keep being, let's see here. Yeah, so that's a strong message that's coming through. And then we have, the universe wants to express its creativity, healing, and brilliance through you. It does not want to be limited to repeating what has already been. Newness needs to burst through you into startling expressions of abundant life. You are guided into unknown territory, guided to go beyond that which you have known yourself and your world to be, so that something original and necessary can be brought to life. The universe knows all that you are in need of, so you can best attain your destiny. All shall be provided for you. Expand your faith to allow for the greater workings of spirit. And then my eyes fell on, it is time to adjust your belief systems to encompass this entire universe as your creative partner in life. It provides you with resources, opportunities, and learning experiences to gain precious information and life skills so that you are singularly and completely equipped to do what you have come to this planet to do. Kumu, the great wisdom teacher, guides you now. Don't allow your mind to create visions of poverty or lack, of failure or absence of support. Focus instead upon the sweet generosity of the universe lovingly providing for you. Off in advance of you consciously realizing what you need, with all that is necessary for your best and fulfillment of your best life and fulfillment of your sacred purpose. All the answers, the connections, the resources, everything you need is right there for you at the best moment. And so it's following your inspiration, following your passion, seeking out the things that bring you joy, releasing the things and the situations and the people that bring your vibration down, and going and seeking the things that bring it up and that bring you joy. And just knowing that that joy is, we were talking about this earlier too, that joy is what's guiding you and what's going to lead you down that road to finding your soul purpose and finding your soul path. And this, I'm not sure if this is also a reading for you or if this is a reading for everyone, but this card is really calling to me. So I'm going to read out a little bit of what this says here. It's and this is Soma from the Galactic Heart, Mayu. The Divine Mother's milk of the galaxy is feeding your soul. Oh, that's crazy, because we got a card that talked about that from the Starseed deck and the Starseed Oracle reading that we did the other day. Expansion of your horizons, your spiritual purpose, and your sacred responsibilities is taking place. Divine potential within you is awakening at a higher turn of the creative spiral of consciousness. This oracle is the prophecy of ascension and grace. Yes, so I think this is a card that's for all of us right now. That's why this was calling. And it says, your soul has been going through a deep spiritual feeding process and is growing rapidly. The evidence of this in the outer world will be a sense of expansion of opportunity, reach, connections, and new levels of spiritual experiences. This oracle foretells the welcoming in of a new phase in life. Newborn energies and fertility, whether biological, creative, or psychological, are being stimulated. This oracle indicates the discovery, development, and expression of talents. An increasingly public profile, which moves you into the spotlight, can help you fulfill your divine life mission, provided that you keep your inner connection to spirit as the highest priority. This oracle speaks of soul healing around matters of trust, spirit, mother, and abundance. Mayu, star goddess of the Milky Way, was seen clearly in the skies of the ancient Incas. In Western traditions, the Milky Way is recognized as a metaphor for nourishment in the milk of the heavens. When she appears as an oracle, it is an omen of happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment. If you develop your spiritual practice, you shall come to experience feeling drunk on divine bliss, like a baby in an ecstasy of complete fulfillment through the mother's milk. When we connect with the galactic heart, it is a sign of spiritual advancement. We are growing in such a way that our being becomes ready, willing, and able to take up more spiritual space in the atmosphere. You will express that spiritual growth in your life according to your talents. If you are a thinker, your ideas will become more inspired, expansive, and original. If you are a healer, you will experience the flow of a new quality of divine consciousness through your work. If you are a leader, you will experience a feeling of being overshadowed by something truly great, kind, and helpful, whilst at the same time feeling more fearless, bold, and confident to speak your truth and guide those in your care. Whatever the truth of your soul, encounters with the galactic heart are granted in order to evoke, expand, and empower it upon the earth. Some interpretations of the Vedas from ancient India see the Milky Way as the heavenly Soma, the nectar of immortality and the drink of the divine. Soma can feed the soul, but like any food, healthy or otherwise, too much at any given time is hard to digest and can create more harm than good. More divine light and energy is not always better, at least not when we try to take it in all at once. We need to learn when enough is enough, to detach from the Divine Mother's breast and rest in contentment and fulfillment of the present moment. To allow ourselves to be spiritually fed, to know when to latch on and when to detach from the inflow of spiritual energy, to allow for the mind, body, and soul to adjust to the increased levels of light and spiritual nutrition, and to metabolize that for healing growth. We need to feel trust and surrender into the divine feminine. If we have had difficult issues around trust, support, and nourishment as human beings, then clearing those issues through grace, so as to be able to receive the heavenly nectar without greed or fear, is important. Mayu offers healing of these matters with grace. Digestion and integration allow us to utilize the blessing and become ready for further expansion when it is time to be fed again. We trust that her sacred food will be available when needed. We can learn to rest into all that the Galactic Mother will provide for our soul, growing into the fullness of our spiritual radiance and maturity, one dose of her extraordinary blessed soma at a time. So this is also talking to us about just the process of integration, right? Like as we are growing spiritually and we're receiving these activations and these initiations and our light is growing, like we have to allow that time for that integration to happen. We have to allow ourselves time to rest. And we have to not look at our spiritual journey as this process of like task oriented, right? And so it's really funny. This is for some reason, what's coming to mind for me is this meme that you see on social media a lot lately, talking about like, if you haven't created a side hustle or done this or done that by the end of this pandemic, then like, it doesn't mean that you lacked time. It means you lacked motivation or discipline or whatever. And so it's this mentality that we have, right? Of like, go, 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 do, succeed, succeed, succeed. And like, we can put this same mentality toward our spiritual journey sometimes and not allow ourselves, one, to integrate and to allow the energies to settle, right? And two, to appreciate and give ourselves credit for all the work that we've done. You know, like there's like, it's self-growth and, you know, healing and learning and connecting with who we truly are. Like it's a process, right? And it's a never ending process. We're always like seeing deeper and deeper layers and getting deeper and deeper into this process. There's always more to be revealed. There's always more growth, right? And so like it's a never ending process. We're never going to be finished. And so and it's a difficult process. Sometimes we have to really face and look at ourselves and parts of ourselves the parts of ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge are the parts that usually most need to be healed, and the parts that are the keys to our deepest freedom, right? But like this is an intensive process, and it's giving ourselves credit for going through this process and for all the work that we've done, and appreciating that and appreciating ourselves. Like give yourselves a pat on the back. Everybody that's in this live right now, like I guarantee you've done some serious spiritual work, you know, to even be interested in listening to the stuff that we're talking about here. Like you are in that process, and like, good for you. Congratulations. Like that is fucking huge. And give yourself some credit for that. Give yourself some credit from that, and give yourself time to adjust and time to integrate and grow into who you are, and just be in that process and allow that mother to cradle you and to comfort you. And, you know, like, know that as we do this, like we are sinking deeper and deeper into our purpose, and we're expressing more and more of our light, and like everything will come and in its own due time, but just allow that process to unfold. That's the biggest message that I'm getting from all of that right now, is just allowing that process to unfold and being gentle with ourselves during that process. Yeah. And just knowing that this is a time where, like, you know, we are our gifts and our talents and our deepening, and we're entering a new level of mastery with those. But some of that requires stepping out into the unknown as well. You know, it requires getting outside of our comfort zone, and it requires that trust, right? It requires that trust and that faith. And so just having that, always having that trust and that faith, that's another thing that's just coming through really heavily, is just having that, trusting in that process and knowing that it is a process, right? It's a process, not an event. It's an ever unfolding process, and just allowing ourselves to be in that process, and whatever stage of that process we're in at any time. And so, yeah, that is just really coming through strong here. And hi, there's so many people popping in and out. Oh, good. I'm glad that resonated. Hi, Sarah. Yes, absolutely. Ask a question. Do you feel as though they're working? And so with stuff like that, I mean, that's a question that only we can answer. Like how, and so for that, like I would ask you, like what are your thoughts? What are your general thoughts like when you think about yourself and when you think about others, Sarah? Like, are those thoughts generally kind and loving? And, or are they more kind? Are they becoming more progressively kind and loving? And so that's part of how we know if we are experiencing a deeper level of self-love, is we can judge how much the way we feel about ourselves by the way we feel about others, right? Like if I find myself judging something in someone else, that's a key that tells me that that's something I judge in myself. And the more I exhibit that, the more I know that there are wounds that are coming up, that there are places in me that are seeking and needing that love. And so that's a huge key. And it's just noticing like the general thoughts that we have, like the way when we think about ourselves, the self-talk that we have. And when that starts improving and that starts getting kinder, that's when we know that we are developing a deeper sense of self-love. The relationships that we have in our lives, the way, not just the way that we treat ourselves, but the way that others treat us, is a huge indicator of the level of self-love that we have. And so, because everything's a mirror, right? Like we were talking about earlier. So I can see my level of self-love reflected in how I am allowing other people to treat me. And when I start loving myself more, I demand a deeper level of respect from other people. And I only allow people to treat me according, like the way I allow people to treat me is proportionate to my degree of worth, what I believe that I am worth and what I believe that I deserve. And so when I start demanding a higher level of appreciation and respect from other people, then that tells me where I'm at in my journey of self-love. So those are some things that I would look at, as far as that goes. But I mean, you are so absolutely loved by spirit. You are so absolutely loved, and just tapping into the love that spirit has for you and just inviting that into your heart. We're all in that process of learning how to love ourselves, and it's an endless process. And absolutely, it's all a journey. It's all a journey. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Muppet. Oh my God, I love you all so much. This is fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all in the actions that we take, right? Self-love is so much about action. It's so much about like, I see the way that I love myself, how much I love myself, where I'm at in that journey reflected all around me in my circumstances. I see it reflected in my vibration. And I know I see my vibration reflected by the experiences and the interactions that I'm having in my world, because everything is a reflection, and the universe is always mirroring back to us little indicators of where we are at vibrationally. And I want to throw out as well, for people that have just jumped on, who are maybe struggling or dealing with some of this stuff. I am, in addition, I do read cards. But I'm an energy healer. And so I am a Reiki master and a Belvaspata master. And Belvaspata is my specialty. It's angelic healing of the heart. So it really helps, it heals on all levels, but it really focuses on that heart energy and that heart center, and opening that up and opening us up to not only the remembrance of who we truly are, but the remembrance of the fact that we were never actually separate from that unconditional love that we came from. Like, we are that source energy, and connecting us back into that energy. So all the information for that is in the description box below. Due to the coronavirus and everything that's going on in the world right now, I'm doing discounted remote sessions for $44.44. And I mean, I can send this energy anywhere in the world, and it is so powerful. So I really, really encourage people to reach out for that if that's something you're interested in, because it can be so helpful. It can be so, so very helpful. All right. Yes, you guys are so awesome. This has been so much fun. I'm just kind of looking through some of the comments here. Yeah. All right. Yes, I know Tommy's killing it in the comments right now. All right, malicious mind state. I'm going to pull a card for you. Clear. Oh, okay. Okay, so we got the Ancient Ones and Jaguar for you, malicious mind state. All right. Ooh, and I've never seen the first card before. This is the first time. I've had this deck for quite a while. I use it a lot. It's actually like very connected in with this this series of shamanic healing rites that Tommy and I both received, called the Moon Eye Key. And so my shaman uses this deck, and he absolutely loves it, our shaman. And so that's where we both have this deck, and it's a personal favorite of both of ours. And yeah, I've never pulled this card before, malicious mind state. So thank you. And so this says, the ancient ones are the shamans of old who defeated death and escaped from the tyranny of time. The ancient ones once walked the earth like us in flesh and bone. Now they reside in infinity and can counsel us after we say yes to our calling. They are available to help us attain our full realization. The ancient ones are inviting you to reach to the future to help birth a new destiny for the earth. Yes. Go ahead, find out who you are becoming 10,000 years from now. If you accept the invitation, great power and blessings will come your way and allow you to craft a new destiny for yourself. Do not hesitate to bite off more than you can chew, because you have unlimited spiritual resources available right now. So, boom. I don't know what else to say about that. That is fucking incredible. Oh my God. Yeah. To reach to the future to help. So this is like time. This is like an invitation for time travel or something. And so there are people who have the capabilities to do that. So that's very fascinating that you're being invited to. I don't know if you would do that through like a meditation of setting the intention, or visualizing. I mean, whatever popped into your head, whatever thoughts came up for that, maybe ask the ancient ones for guidance in how to do that. Envision what you would like to see the earth. We did this in some of our meditations, right? When we did that group meditation, is the envisioning of the new earth. What would that look like? What would that feel like? Anchoring that in. And so this is just saying to me that you have there is a big role that you have. I mean, we all have a big role to play, but there is definitely, this is confirming you have a role to play in the birthing of the new earth, and you are being invited to step into that destiny right now. And so don't limit yourself, and don't think small. Anything that you can imagine, you can create and you can achieve, and you have the resources at your disposal. The ancient ones are supporting you. They're absolutely supporting you. And, they want you to step into your power. And so you have Jaguar. And so Jaguar says, the jaguar is the protector of all life in the Amazon, and in times of fear, she brings courage and certainty. Jaguar is at the top of the food chain and never becomes prey. With great stealth, she can track her mark from a distance and not be seen or heard. She moves gracefully through the jungle, relishing the abundance of the rainforest, fearless and at ease. Jaguar knows the ways beyond death and is the master of the shadows. blending invisibly between light and dark, night and day. Jaguar calls you to explore beyond the walls that confine you, to go outside your normal routine, to push your limits and boundaries. She is delivering an invitation from your own future. Ha, that's funny. That's weird. 2 cards about the future. To investigate the unknown, to venture into the mystery in the dark places you have been reluctant to explore. Toss all caution to the wind. Know that your Jaguar instinct will serve you well. And so the future, your future is calling to you. Your future is calling to you. The Jaguar can also represent the shadow and the willingness to sort of to dig deep into those more hidden parts of ourselves. And so there could be, some shadow work involved or being called as well. But I mean, this is a call to really be to be able to really craft and manifest and visualize like a greater world for us all. And like a key, it's all about, it keeps saying don't limit yourself. And so whatever your old limiting beliefs, like that's another thing that Jaguar can represent, is moving beyond those limiting beliefs and all of that, all of those stories and all of that stuff that you told yourself that defined who you were no longer defines you. And so you're able to redefine yourself and to really step into your full power and, don't put conditions on that. Don't allow your past perspective to dictate what you think the possibilities for yourself could be, because there's so much more than you could imagine. And so that's just I just wanted to throw that out there for you real quick, because you are so very supportive and so much appreciated, and also so very tactfully didn't even ask for a reading or anything. So I wanted to make sure I got something out to you before we close. So there. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right. 4444. Yes. The 4s, the 4-4 portal, those 4s are still following us. Earlier today, I have this clock right outside my house that tells the time and the temperature. And when I looked up, it said 44 degrees and the time was 4:44. So, I mean, I love those 4s, man. But I was seeing them for months coming up to the 4-4 portal. I just feel like that was such a huge turning point for so many of us. And it's just going to be so exciting to see what develops. Yes. Yeah, I do too. That was intense. That was really intense. I mean, time is an illusion, right? So we can become the masters of time, and we can move backwards and forwards through time, and we can anchor in whatever reality we wish. And some of us, like, that is part of what we're doing, is we are anchoring in that new reality and that new earth. And like, we all have different ways to do that, and, different missions. And we're all stepping into our purpose and our mission right now. It's very exciting stuff. It's very exciting stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever you envisioned, like, that can be a reality. And I think that was a call for you to stay committed to that reality, and know, like, an affirmation, a confirmation that maybe you saw, maybe it wasn't even so much. Sometimes we think we're envisioning things, but we really are. It's almost like we're seeing, like, we're witnessing something that already does exist, or that will resist. Maybe you did travel in time during that meditation. Who knows? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Okay, starting with developing the clairvoyance. Well, I mean, I'll throw it out there again. Healing sessions are incredible for helping to open up some of that stuff. It's all energetic, right? It all depends. Like, I think it's a process, right? Like, for me, that's been a huge process. And, for me, for a really long time, I wanted so badly to have access to those gifts. And it was almost like I was so focused on the attaining of them, but that I was like blocking myself off from receiving them. And really, it came from just relaxing a little bit and opening up, and just like figuring out what I wanted to do with them. Like what was the point, right? Like the more that we start stepping into our purpose, the more that our gifts start developing, because we have something, like we have a reason to use them. You know what I mean? I think meditation is key. Just, you know, it sounds so simple, right? But really meditating and getting quiet with ourselves, and like, you know, just setting that intention and asking for that communication can help to open up those channels. For me, one of the signs that was starting to open up for me was the ringing in the ears, Brian. So I would notice I started, you know, hearing energy, and I can hear, and when different tones. I was actually, the first time that I received a Belvaspata healing was when I started hearing energy. And so whenever the vibration raises, I can hear it like a different pitch of ringing in my ears. And so people say that that's your guides wanting to talk to you. And it's also about knowing that not everyone experiences clairaudience and these different clairsentience, all these different gifts in the same way. Like we all have, some of us have multiple ways that we experience it. Some of us have one or two ways that we experience it. And another thing that I fell into, a trap that I fell into, was comparing the way other people experienced it and the way that I thought that other people experienced it. And what I was expecting was that I was just going to have a little voice in my ear talking to me all the time. And that's what I wanted, was I wanted to ask a question and get a response in a different voice in my mind. And that's what I thought it was. And so I had to open up and realize a lot of times for me, I receive downloads and messages from spirit, but it pops into my head as my own thought or in my own voice. And over time, I've been able to distinguish what's my own thoughts and what thoughts are being placed there by spirit. But I had to really work on the process also of sort of separating from the ego a little bit, you know, and so that I was able to recognize and stepping out away from that monkey mind. And that's where meditation can be really helpful as well, so that I could discern the difference and know when it was an inspired thought and when it was my own thought, and when my thoughts started aligning more with that I don't know what I was meant to say there, but yeah, you know, just being able to distinguish between the two and know that everybody receives communication in different ways. Some of us, there's just so many ways that spirit tries to talk to us or is talking to us, and it's just about how we learn to listen, what the language is that they're speaking with us and what our language is that we're speaking in. And yeah, just the intention of opening up those channels of communication, and the not being attached to how that's going to happen. That's huge. And also, if we're trying to communicate with other beings, being really specific about what beings we're trying to communicate with. It's actually funny. I was telling this story the other day. It was actually my friend Tommy that's on here that I was talking to one day. And I was getting really mad. And I went on this whole rant about how I just wanted my angels and my guides to just speak to me and have conversations with me. And like, why are they not talking to me? Why can't they just have a conversation with me just like anybody? And I was getting really angry and irritated about it. And at the end, I was like, I know I'm just being ridiculous and I just need to be patient and like chill, but whatever. And then that night when I went to bed, I was almost asleep and I heard this really creepy voice right directly in my ear. And it just said like, what's up, or something really weird and random like that. And it was so distinct that I bolted right up in bed, and I had this really uncomfortable feeling. And so afterwards, I asked any being, I got a little more specific, and I said, only the highest vibrations of love and light are welcome in this space. I cast out any energies that are not in service to the light. And then I brought down the white light, and I expanded it out through my heart and flooded it through the room to push out any energies, because the energy didn't feel like the kind of energy I wanted to communicate. So you also want to be really specific about who you're trying to communicate with. I mean, everything comes from the same source. There's really no evil, good or bad, it's all relative, but there are entities and energies that are a bit more mischievous and maybe not of the highest intention. We live in a universe of polarity, right? And so we want to be careful about what we are and who we are initiating contact with, and be very specific and just be open to how that contact is going to happen. I don't know if that was helpful or not, Brian. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The ears ringing. They say that that's when we're starting to tune in. That's first how we hear them. Um, yeah. So, oh, so you're talking about clairvoyance though. So was that even what you? Yeah, that's we're talking about communication. Clairvoyance too can be. I mean, that can happen in all different sorts of ways. That can happen through the dream state. Setting intentions to remember your dreams and receive guidance through your dreams. That can happen just with gut feelings and intuition. That was another thing when I was developing my own intuition, that somebody pointed out to me, was just like those instant thoughts that we have, that little instant guidance, even if it's something so simple like should I eat this apple or this banana, and like something in us right away tells us to eat the apple. Like that's our intuition. And it's just the more that we notice our intuition and we start following it and paying attention to it, the more it speaks to us. And it speaks to us through the sensations we have in our bodies, the feelings we have in our guts. There's all these different ways that we're receiving these messages. And the more we tune into those and respond to those and react to those, the more we receive more guidance. And so it's just getting into the flow of doing that, and tapping into and tuning into our own intuition, and being open to whatever way it is that our gifts are manifesting, and not comparing those to other people's, I think is the biggest key. And just really knowing what our intention is for wanting to develop those things. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the live about protecting our energy and becoming a sovereign energetic being. So definitely check out some of that. Maybe watch from the beginning after, because we definitely, we went over that as well. That came up. A lot of this stuff, it'll come up because it was all meant to be discussed. Yep. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's like a muscle, and the more we use it, the stronger the muscle gets. Exactly, exactly. Okay, so I'm thinking now I want to pull a card to end the live with. Yeah. I'm going to pull from the Isis Oracle. It's going to get dangerous the more and more decks I start getting, the more it's like they're all my babies, and I want to play with all of them during the reading. Final messages for the collective watching this video. Final messages from the Isis deck. Final messages. Yes. All right. Chariot of Ascension. Work of the higher initiate, the Merkaba. And so this is actually really great that we pulled this, because this also speaks of protecting ourselves energetically. So the Merkaba is, we have like a personal energy grid, right? And we have, in this specific case, when it's talking about the Merkaba, it's talking about this vehicle of light that we use when we travel through dimensions, that is like a protective, it's like a protective shield, a protective armor, if you will, for our bodies, and just how important it is to protect ourselves energetically when we do travel between these dimensions and different things like that. And so it says, your soul wishes to travel more freely between the dimensions of higher reality. This is to allow for conscious spirit communication, the free flow of soul light into the physical body, and the joining in divine harmony of heaven and earth. It requires a powerful consciousness to do this. The Merkaba, Chariot of Ascension and Soul Fire, is the spiritual gift to attain these divine purposes now, available to you as a high initiate. I'm just going to hold that up. There are times when the soul becomes ambitious and wishes to live its entire light in conscious oneness with all expressions of its being, including the physical body. It may wish to do so simply because it is the nature of all beings to eventually realize themselves as divine, or because it needs specific new skills to be available to the human expression in the physical body, so it can continue with its divine purpose. Those skills might be channeling divine energy or consciousness for healing, traveling easily between the worlds for conscious spirit communication, so much of the stuff we've been talking about, gaining greater artistic or creative ability because it feels wonderful to create, or any other number of purposes. This oracle brings you guidance that a special spiritual practice has come or is soon coming to your attention that will help your soul reach you more fully. It will be an advanced practice, and it will serve you well at this time in your journey to reach the higher levels of capacity and spiritual responsibility that are available to you as a high initiate. Peace to you, beloved. Your spiritual work on this planet is greatly supported. The Chariot of Ascension Oracle also offers you a particular sacred teaching from the Priestess of High Initiates, Lady Isis. This is the practice of the Merkaba, soul vehicle or chariot of ascension. This vehicle is an energetic structure of sacred geometry that strengthens and protects you, allowing your consciousness to travel instantaneously and freely between dimensions and realities without compromising your vibration or damaging your energy bodies. Merkaba is a vehicle of great strength and power and is best used with a heart dedicated in unconditional love and service. It can be used to travel on the inner planes to stars and temples for higher guidance in an instant, as well as to connect with other souls on the inner planes at various levels of evolution. It is recommended that such a practice only be used with permission granted from the soul in question and from a place of love and intention to be of healing service. And so this is what I was talking about with like, what is your intent, right? And so setting the intent to be of service. Merkaba allows you to travel without the usual restraints upon your energy field, but like any powerful practice, there is a wise caution. You will travel and experience what is in your heart. Keep your heart open and clear, and do not use Merkaba if you are feeling uncentered, ungrounded, disconnected, or angry. It is a technique to use when you are feeling peaceful and aligned within yourself. At such times, great growth in consciousness is possible for you using Merkaba. And so this brings up something which is just like, especially if we're talking about astral travel and things like this, like we want to make sure that our vibration is strong, our energy is strong, we're feeling centered, we're feeling, supported and in that place of peace, because we will attract to us things that are a match to our vibration. And so we don't want to be, traveling into other dimensions and into other astral planes with an energy that's going to attract things that are not of the vibration that we wish to interact with. And so that brought that up as well. So I wanted to say that. The Oracle of the Chariot of Ascension is a gift of high-level spiritual training. Your wisdom in using what you have learned helps you make the most of this sacred gift. This oracle is as much about receiving the training as it is about knowing when to apply it and when to have restraint. And so it's interesting because that came up again. It was a similar thing when we had the mother's milk card, right? Which was about knowing when to drink the milk and knowing when we've had enough. And it's time to allow ourselves to digest. So it's this really knowing ourselves. And so any spiritual practice that we undertake, right? Like we have to learn discipline. We have to be disciplined. We have to know ourselves. We have to know our limits. And we have to be able to set clear boundaries, both with ourselves, with any other beings that we may be interacting with. It's just, it's so, so important to just really, to be really spiritually grounded before we try to undertake some of these higher level, if you will, undertakings. But like we can do absolutely anything. We are unlimited in our potential. It says, the Oracle of the Chariot of Ascension is also confirmation that you are growing spiritually and becoming ready for greater tasks and spiritual responsibilities. If you have been considering taking a step to engage in teaching or healing, in studying or practicing at a higher level, whether spiritually or in your chosen field or profession, you are encouraged to follow your heart and your destiny and be bold. Say yes to yourself. The Chariot of Ascension speaks of rising destinies and success. All right, so this card, sorry, I got to stretch out a little bit. You guys know, I've told you guys before how it is back here. So you guys will know what message is for you. Like if the Merkaba is something that really resonated with you, definitely look it up. If this is just a general message saying you're stepping into a deeper level of spiritual empowerment, of spiritual mastery, that you're ready to proceed to whatever the next undertaking is in your spiritual journey. This is just confirmation of that for some of you. And for some of you, it is about, astral travel and traveling to these different realms and retrieving different abilities and deepening of your gifts. And so you look into that as well. It's just about knowing where we're at and what's right for us at any given time, and just allowing ourselves to go at the pace that's appropriate for us, and knowing that like whatever it is that we're meant to do, like we will get there in perfect divine timing. And it's allowing the journey to unfold and not rushing the journey. And that brings me back into, my own spiritual journey, which I was talking about a little bit earlier. And this whole process of, I think part of my, what held me back for a really long time was this feeling like I should be further along than I was, and the judgment of myself for that, and the frustration that I felt with myself for that, and not allowing myself to unfold and to bloom and to blossom at my own pace. And as soon as I was okay with where I was at, and I found appreciation for my gifts that were developing and the way that they were developing, like that's when they began to deepen and to blossom. And when I really stepped into that true desire of where it wasn't so much about the ego, like, why can this person do this and I feel like I can't? Or why does this person have access to this and I can't? And I don't, like, I feel like I should. And like, all of that ego type stuff. And it became more of just this deep desire to be of service. That is when things really started progressing and unfolding. And that comes right back into that self-love, right? That self-love. And love you too, Amanda. Another one of my loves is on. That once I allowed that process of loving myself and being grateful for, the gifts that I was experiencing and the way that I was experiencing them, and allowing my own path to unfold, and just knowing that it was my path and it wasn't going to look like anybody else's path because it was specific to me. That's when things began to unfold more deeply. So it's just having appreciation and respect for every leg of this journey that we're on, and just knowing and appreciating the fact that it is, like we said, that it is a journey. And, not being so focused on the destination, and really just, appreciating and going along for the ride. And yeah, so I think that's, yes, light spirit body. Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's where we're at, dude. We're things are gonna get very interesting, man. I mean, this is just, I just want to say, wow, we're getting close to 2 hours here. That's fucking awesome. I just want to say how much I love and appreciate all of you. Like, this is so much fun especially now that, like, we're getting to interact more and we're getting to know each other. And it's like this community that we're forming as we're going through this journey. And it's so beautiful. And I absolutely love all of you. I'm so happy that I got on here. Now I totally understand why Spirit wanted me to do this as a live, because I needed the energy of you guys as well to just get me back into my own right mind and my own right thinking. It's so easy to get distracted by everything that's going on outside, and to just sink into that place of frustration. And we have to stay centered in love and the excitement of this beautiful journey that we're on together. And, look, don't get distracted by all the outside stuff. Come back to here and what's important and what's happening. And amazing and beautiful things are happening. And we're all in this incredible journey together. And yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for all of you guys. And I hope that everyone that did get a little mini reading, that it was helpful for you guys. And I mean, I've really enjoyed being here and doing this with everyone tonight. This just turned my entire day around. It really, really did. It brings you back to what's important, right? It's like that's the thing. That's what it is, right? In this time, it's all about getting out of that space of just being in our own heads and our own fear and our own whatever, and doing whatever it is, however it is that we can be of service to help another. That's what it's all about right now. And when we help another, we help ourselves. This live may have been helpful for some people who tuned in, but it was really, really helpful for me too. And it's just focusing on the things that bring us joy and that light that fire in our souls, because that's where that's the key to everything for all of us. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys are all amazing. I thank you so, so, so much. I mean, we are so supported and we are so loved and we are so guided. And we also are here to be those lights and those guides for each other. And, like we're all in this together. It's a collective experience, this awakening journey. It's a community of incredible like-minded souls all on this path and this journey together. And like you guys make my life, my experience on this earth so much more beautiful. So yeah, I mean, thank you to everyone that tuned in. Everyone who views this after the fact, like the messages will find you when they're meant to find you. Everything always happens in divine timing. You can definitely reach out to me if you'd like a healing or a reading. Kayla as well. We are going to be working on a way to get some videos on here together. The live stream, it's a bit more challenging to do together from separate locations, but hopefully we'll figure something out. But she does amazing readings as well. So you can absolutely reach out to her. Her information is in the description box below too. And, yes, we're gonna close with a quote, with a message from Tommy, because I think that's just a perfect way to end it. So it says, "May we allow the creative energy swirling within us to guide us to the highest limits of your human experience and fully awakening into your highest potential being. And in case you may forget, know that your presence in this world does matter and you do make a difference, no matter how small or insignificant it or you may sometimes feel." Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And with that, I bid you all a good night. Much, much love to all of you. Much, much love. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, you beautiful, beautiful creator beings. Oh, that's not where the end button is. I'll figure this out eventually. It's a process. It's like I said about everything. It's it's a process. So love you all. Mwah. And yes.